least one person armed with a knife has been shot in an attack at the Israeli embassy in Ankara, in the Gaziantep area of the Turkish capital. Now, this video shows the moments after the attacker was shot by a Turkish police officer. The Israeli Foreign Ministry says embassy staff are safe. Local authorities say the man appears to be unstable and so far doesn't seem to have any links to any organisations. Well, TRT World's Hasan Abdullah was at the embassy moments after the suspect was apprehended. He sent this report.
The road on which this embassy is located has now been reopened. The crime scene has been cleared. Earlier, the bomb disposal squad found a suspicious package, and initially they had said that they were going to carry out a controlled explosion, but later on they said that there was no need, and according to them, perhaps the bag had been left there as a distraction. Now, a man who's being described in his late 30s or early 40s has been arrested. According to police officials, he walked on this road a few times, raising suspicions, and then he tried to enter the embassy while carrying a knife. He was ordered to stop and put his hands up. He did not comply. That's when he was shot in the leg and then handcuffed and taken away. Police officials here are also saying that he had been chanting slogans. Now, the governor's office says that it seems the man is mentally unstable and there is no evidence so far of his association with any of the terrorist organization. The Israeli Foreign Ministry has said that all members of staff at the embassy are safe and that the operations will resume shortly.
Syria's ceasefire has seemingly collapsed. A UN aid convoy has been destroyed, and according to the outgoing UN Secretary General, the Syrian war has reached new levels of depravity. Ban Ki-moon saved his strongest language yet for his final speech to the UN, saying everyone involved in the Syrian conflict has blood on their hands.
The conflict in Syria is taking the greatest number of lives and sowing the widest instability. There is no military solution. Many groups have killed many innocents, but none more so than the government of Syria, which continues to barrel bomb neighborhoods and systematically torture thousands of detainees. Powerful patrons that keep feeding the war machine also have blood on their hands. Present in this hall today are representatives of governments that have ignored, facilitated, funded, participated in, or even planned and carried out atrocities inflicted by all sides of Syrian conflict against Syrian civilians. Just when we think it cannot get any worse, the bar of depravity sinks lower.
Well, 20 civilians were killed when airstrikes hit an aid convoy. The UN has suspended all other deliveries into Syria. The US blames Russia for the attack, and UN aid chief Stephen O'Brien says if the trucks were targeted deliberately, it would amount to a war crime. But Moscow insists it's not to blame and says an incident on the ground led to the aid trucks catching fire. Meanwhile, a Syrian regime warplane has crashed in the eastern Kalamoun area, that's north of the capital Damascus. The army says the aircraft was carrying out an airstrike against a Daesh outpost and that the pilot has been rescued. The cause of the incident is unclear, but Daesh has claimed responsibility for shooting down the plane. Now that the week-long ceasefire is over, attacks have been stepped up across the country. At least 4 people have been killed in an attack on a clinic near Aleppo. TRT World obtained exclusive footage from inside the city, which has been the scene of some of the heaviest fighting in recent months. Alijan Ayanla reports.
The fragile sense of calm has quickly disappeared and hope has gone along with it. Just a few hours after the ceasefire came to an end, airstrikes pounded rebel-held districts in eastern Aleppo.
Here it is. Look how thick it is. It's a piece of a barrel bomb that was dropped over there. May God help us. Are we not human beings living here?
The raids have killed dozens of civilians and turned these houses to rubble. Now, there's barely any sign of life, except for small reminders. like this, a previous aerial attack that left more than 120 people dead. Abu Hamza runs a small shop. He says the people out on the streets during the ceasefire have all but vanished, and he has almost lost all hope.
We have no trust in the US, Russia, nor anyone else. I only trust the Syrians, the people of this country who defend this land.
And they're filling up while they can. The regime has besieged the opposition-held districts since July. The ceasefire brokered by the US and Russia has failed to deliver aid to around 250,000 people in Aleppo's east.
We have no food, no bread. We only hear the sound of jets bombing us.
And with the latest ceasefire seemingly in tatters, there appears to be no end in sight to this for the people of Aleppo. Ali Janayanlar, TRT World, Gaziantep.
Now, the refugee crisis has dominated the United Nations General Assembly this week in New York. In one of the most anticipated addresses on the issue, US President Barack Obama announced that 50 countries have pledged to collectively take in 360,000 refugees by the end of the year. And while there may be tensions between the US and Turkey at the moment, they can at least agree that more concrete action